بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. عظم الله أجورنا وأجوركم بمصابنا بسيدنا ومولانا أمير المؤمنين، وجعلنا الله وإياكم من الطالبين بثأره بين يدي الإمام المنصور المؤيد المهدي من آل محمد. اللهم صل على محمد. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا وعظيمنا وحبيب قلوبنا وشفيع نفوسنا أبي القاسم محمد. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين وأصحابه الغر الميامين. الحمد لله الذي جعلنا من المتمسكين بولاية سيدي ومولاي علي بن أبي طالب. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. أما بعد، يقول الله في كتابه الكريم: بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. وقال الرسول يا رب إن قوم اتخذوا هذا القرآن مهجورا. The first of our salawat and honor of Rasulullah Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam. The second in honor of Amir al-Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib. The third with your loudest voices in honor of the Imam of our time, Imam Sahib al-Asr wa zaman. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa Muhammad. Respected scholars, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh. The discussion concerning the Qur'an of Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib salawatullah wa salamuhu alayhi. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad is one of the most fascinating discussions within Islamic thought, and indeed a discussion that has received very little attention when one examines Islamic history. Indeed, you find if you were to ask many people about the Qur'an of Imam Ali, there are very few who know anything about that Qur'an. And therefore, this is a topic that requires a thorough analysis, for the repercussions of this topic are both historical as well as theological. As we know, Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen has an unbelievable relationship with the Qur'an. When you examine Sunni and Shia literature, you find that the Imam has a number of traditions in which he is extolled for his relationship with the Qur'an. The famous tradition narrated within the books of Ahlul Sunnah and Tashayyu', where the Holy Prophet says that Ali is with the Qur'an and the Qur'an is with Ali. Likewise, you find, for example, within Sufi tradition, Ali ibn Abi Talib is seen as being the dot under the ba of Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. That for a person to understand the Qur'an, one of the only ways in which they can understand its essence is through him. Even he himself, in many of his statements, you find him making it clear that he's the only one who has knowledge of the Qur'an after the Prophet from all its angles. You find him in one sermon clearly saying, ask me before you lose me. Ask me about the book of Allah. I know about every verse, whether it was revealed in the daytime or in the night, on the mountains or on the plain land. In other words, you find that Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen is hardly ever separated from the Qur'an. And that's why the discussion concerning his Qur'an is a fundamental discussion. Why? If you were to ask many Muslims about his Qur'an, many would turn around to you and say, what do you mean the Qur'an of Ali? There's only one Qur'an, and that's the Qur'an of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Without a doubt, within Islamic literature, there is more than enough evidence that while the Qur'an we have with us today is without a doubt the Qur'an that was left by the Holy Prophet, there was another Qur'an which was being supervised by the Prophet and written by Amir al-Mu'mineen. That Qur'an is the Qur'an which is included in Sunni and Shia literature. That you found that even years after Amir al-Mu'mineen had passed away, a number of prominent disciples had mentioned the Qur'an of Ali. For example, Muhammad bin Sirin is a known tabi'i, a known member of the generations after the companions. Muhammad bin Sirin lived until 110th year after Hijrah, meaning that he lived for 100 years after Rasulullah. He says, I wish that I had the transcript of the Qur'an of Ali ibn Abi Talib, for there is so much wisdom to be gained from that transcript. Someone turns around and says, what do you mean the transcript of the Qur'an of Ali ibn Abi Talib? We have the transcript of the Qur'an of Allah. What is the transcript of the Qur'an of Ali ibn Abi Talib? If you were to study many of the scholars of Ahlul Sunnah and the scholars of the Shia, many of them point to the fact that Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib had compiled his own Qur'an, and that Rasulullah had asked him to compile this Qur'an as a supplement to the Qur'an that we have with us today. If you were to read, for example, Fath al-Bari fi Sharh Sahih al-Bukhari of Ibn Hajar al-Asqalani, or if you were to read, for example, Al-Sawa'iq al-Muhriqa of Ibn Hajar al-Haythami, or if you were to read Al-Itqan fi Ulum al-Quran of Jalal al-Din al-Suyuti, or if you were to read Shaykh al-Mufid or Allam al-Majlisi's works, especially Mufid within Awa'il al-Maqalat, or if you were to read Kitab Sulaim as an old textbook, you will find all of them discuss the fact that Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, for a certain period after Rasulullah, stayed in his house to compile his own Qur'an. And that this Qur'an would be used as a supplement to the Qur'an that we have today. However, for all the lovers of Ali ibn Abi Talib, if you were to ask them on a night like the 21st night of Ramadan, did you ever know that there was a Qur'an of Ali? Many will turn around and say, to tell you the truth, we never knew. As in, we know that there's a Qur'an of Allah. But what's the Qur'an of Ali? Do you know that the discussion concerning the Qur'an of Imam Ali opens an unbelievable number of avenues as to the oppression which Al-Muhammad faced after Rasulullah died? Many times when we hear about the oppression that Imam faced, that his wife faced, that their children faced, normally it's from the angle of Saqifa, or normally it's from the angle of Fadak, or normally it's from the angle of the door. One of the angles which highlighted that the community was not interested in Ali ibn Abi Talib and wanted to ostracize his knowledge is this issue. That if ever you want to know how the Muslim community neglected Ali ibn Abi Talib after Rasulullah died, then look at the issue of the Qur'an of Ali ibn Abi Talib. That Qur'an which many of those people in Saudi Arabia, many of them accuse us, they say, you are those who have the Qur'an of Ali. No, we don't. That Qur'an is with the 12th Imam at present. But that Qur'an of Ali, without a doubt, we believe in it. We believe in it as a supplement of the Qur'an. And it was rejected by the Muslims because of certain content some of them could not handle. What that content is, I'll examine tonight in complete depth. Let's examine the Qur'an of Ali ibn Abi Talib in the following stages. Number one, in which order did Ali ibn Abi Talib write his Qur'an? Number two, what was it about the margins of the pages that made certain people wary of the verses which he had bought? Number three, did Umar come to Ali about the Qur'an, and what did Imam reply to him when he wanted a copy of it? Number four, did Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib ever reply using the Qur'an in the 25 years when he was not Khalifa, or did he distance himself completely? And number five, why was that same Qur'an which Rasulullah left behind on a spear on the day of Siffin, and how did the people neglect Imam's knowledge on that day? And number six, who from Siffin made the Khawarij at Nahrawan, and how did Ibn Muljam emerge from them? Let's examine this and seek to dissect the topic in depth. Ali ibn Abi Talib's Qur'an, what was unique about it on the first level was something which helped many people understand the flow of the religion of Islam. In which way? The first clear sign of the Qur'an of Amir al-Mu'mineen, something extremely clear for everyone to follow, was that it was a Qur'an collected in a chronological order. What do we mean? The Qur'an we have with us today is not a chronological order, is it? When you look at the Qur'an which you read at home today, is it in chronological order or no? It's impossible that it's in chronological order. Why? Because if it's in chronological order, then the first surah of the Qur'an should be which one? Alaq, correct or no? If the first surah to be revealed to our holy prophet was what? اقرأ باسم ربك الذي خلق. That first surah, Surah Alaq, was the first surah to be revealed. The first surah in the Qur'an we have with us today is which one? Fatiha. You find therefore that the Qur'an which we have at home with us today is not in chronological order. Surah Al-Fatiha is number 1. Number 2 is which one? Baqarah. Number 3 is which one? Al-Imran. Number 4 is which one? Nisa. Number 5 is which one? Ma'idah. Number 6 is which one? Everybody suddenly becomes quiet in the Shia world. That's the problem. As in, without a doubt, if you go to the Shia, all of them think they're holy and glorious and angelic, and all of them are going to Jannah. Wallah, after Surah 5, everybody goes missing in the Shia world. Number 6, An'am. Number 7, A'raf. Number 8, Anfal. Number 9, Tawbah. Number 10, Yunus. This is a resolution you should make in the month of Ramadan, that I abandon the Qur'an. Yes, look in the mirror and say, I abandoned. I don't even know the name of the first 10 surahs of the Qur'an. Yes, and I want to be raised with the Qur'an I put on my head tonight, correct? Sometimes Rasulullah is right when he says, you know, there are some of us, we've neglected the Qur'an. Rasulullah says, when the Qur'an, there'll be a day when it does la'na on the ones who read it. Why? Because there are those who neglect it. You find that the Qur'an we have with us today, the first 10 surahs are no way chronological. Surah 1, Fatiha. Number 2, Baqarah. 3, Al-Imran. These aren't chronological. Fatiha is Meccan. Baqarah is Madinian. Al-Imran Madinian. Nisa Madinian. Ma'idah Madinian. Therefore, Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, when he had compiled the Qur'an, Rasulullah had known there'd be a day when Muslims would be uncertain. As to what? There'd be a day when they'd be asking questions about certain ayat and when they were revealed. So Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, under the supervision of Rasulullah ordered him to write a Qur'an in chronological order. When someone says write a Qur'an in chronological order, what would the Qur'an of Imam Ali have as its chronology? What would be surah number 1? Alaq. Number 2, Qalam. Number 3, Muzammil. Number 4, Muddathir. Number 5, Fatiha. Number 6, Masad. Number 7, Takwir. Number 8, A'la. Number 9, Layl. Number 10, Fil. Number 11, Duha. That's the order of the surahs as they were revealed, isn't it? As in, if you think about it logically, it works perfectly. If you think about those surahs logically, those surahs without a doubt work perfectly. At the beginning I tell you to read. After that I tell you to go get up and warn. Who's my first enemy? My uncle. Happens in many a family. You find that Abu Lahab without a doubt was an early enemy to him. When we think about the Qur'an, have a relationship with the Qur'an, not just by reading it from cover to cover. Rather think, hold on a minute, I know the Prophet announces his prophethood. He's a prophet for 13 years in Mecca, 10 years in Medina. That means any surah which has Medinian content must be later. But a surah which has Medinian content must be early. Correct or no? That's why Surah Masad or Surah Lahab is number 6 in the order of chronology. Why? I am a prophet of God. I announce the message. Who's my first enemy when I announce the message? My uncle Abu Lahab. Correct or no? Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, Rasulullah told him, Ali, write the Qur'an in chronology. Why? So that later on when Muslims are reflecting about the history of Mecca and Medina, your Qur'an can be a good guide to them as to how Allah was guiding them day after day. Correct or no? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when an incident occurs, He sends an ayah of the Qur'an. If I read the Qur'an chronologically, I'll be a bit confused because I'll be thinking, hold on, Fatiha, then Baqarah, then Al-Imran. Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, if I was to read in that way, I'll be confused. So Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, under Rasulullah's guidance, the first thing about his Qur'an was what? The first thing about this Qur'an was that it was in chronological order. And I tell you, if all of you go back tonight and you Google chronological order of Qur'an, you will all be able to begin to notice that the way you reflect on history becomes easy. Let me give you an example. The 11th surah of the Qur'an to be revealed was Surah Al-Duha. وَالضُّحَى وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا سَجَى مَا وَدَّعَكَ رَبُّكَ وَمَا قَلَى. When you read that surah, you look at it, says, by the daybreak and the night when it falls, your Lord has not left you, nor has he forsaken you. When you look at that surah, I know straight away, when I look at the tafsir, that surah refers to Jamil, the wife of Abu Lahab, the sister of Abu Sufyan, who when Rasulullah wasn't getting wahi every day, you see at the beginning, the wahi was coming quick and fast. Then there was a period where there was a break in the wahi. Yes? So what Jamil started going around and saying is, Muhammad's Lord has forsaken him. He's left him astray. Correct or no? You see what had happened was she had said that Muhammad's Satan does not come and help him. Allah revealed the verse, وَالضُّحَى, by the daybreak, وَاللَّيْلِ إِذَا سَجَى, and the night when it falls, مَا وَدَّعَكَ رَبُّكَ وَمَا قَلَى. Your Lord never leaves you alone, nor does he forsake you. Why would Allah say duha and layl? Because there is a time for the morning, which is a time which is busy, and there's a time in the evening, which is a time for rest. Likewise, there's a time I give you wahi quickly, and there's a time I want you to rest. Then I will never make you forsaken, nor will I leave you alone. In other words, Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, vitally with his Qur'an, the first thing he did was chronologically put all the surahs in the order they were revealed. That means if I were to ask all of you, which surah do you think was the first surah he put after the Meccan surahs? Because you know, 86 surahs in the Qur'an are Meccan, 28 are Medinian, which brings the total of how many surahs? 114. 86 surahs of the Qur'an are revealed in Mecca. Logically, the first 13 years of his prophet was in Mecca. There's going to be more in Mecca than Medina. 28 are in Medina. What's the first surah to be revealed in Medina? The first to be revealed in Medina is Baqarah. Then after Baqarah, I would assume many of you, if you use your history, you'll know what could be the next surah. The next surah would be Anfal. Why? Anfal means booty of war. War. Badr. Early Mecca. Correct or no? In other words, you found that the first thing Imam Ali's Qur'an had, chronological order. If you wanted to see the flow of the verses, he put them on chronology. The second thing he had, which caused major trouble. What is it? Imam Ali, next to every ayah of the Qur'an, would put down the names of who the ayah was revealed about. Here's the problem. Yes? Because what happens is, if I've collected this Qur'an, that means, if you imagine, my teacher is Rasulullah, correct? Of course, the examples are given but never measured. Say, my teacher is who? My teacher is the Holy Prophet. Holy Prophet tells me that an ayah has come down. What do I do next to the ayah? He tells me it's come down about this person. Write his name next to the ayah. Correct? When I write the person's name next to the ayah, if the person's done a good deed, then he'll be honored that his name is next to the ayah. Correct or no? As in, without a doubt, if now my name is next to an ayah of the Qur'an. Let me give you an example. If Imam Ali is writing the tafsir of Surah 17 verse 46, وَآتِ ذَا الْقُرْبَى حَقَّهِ, give the nearest of your relatives their due. That verse was revealed in honor of Fatima al-Zahra, salawatullah wa salamu alayha. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad. That verse was revealed in honor of her. How? And that the Holy Prophet had said, after the incident of what? When the Jews of Fadak put their hand up, they put their hand up and they said that, you know what? Fadak, our land, you wanted Muhammad, have it. Because they saw Ali ibn Abi Talib annihilate them at Khaybar. They thought there's no point entering a skirmish with him. So they said, you can have our land. And when Rasulullah takes a piece of land without war, it comes under the Islamic economic heading of Fay. Fay, he could distribute as he likes. Unlike Khums, where you've had a war and there's spoils. You found that when the Fadak was given to him, he gave it to Fatima. Why? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him, in the same way Khadija gave everything for Islam, give Fadak to Fatima in honor of what her mother gave the religion. Yes? Her mother gave everything towards the religion, so give it. Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib would write next to that verse, he'd write, revealed about Fatima al-Zahra. Correct? So that's why this wouldn't be a problem. So that just in case anyone came later and they said that prophets of Allah don't leave inheritance, correct? Because you may get someone coming later on and saying that the prophets don't leave inheritance behind. There's no such thing as inheritance with Fadak. Fadak, we gave it to her 7AH. Inheritance is what you give after someone dies, not while they're alive. So next to the verse, he's written, this is for Fatima. Naturally, if me and Fatima have a dispute, I don't want that Qur'an, correct? Because that Qur'an exposes me. That Qur'an has the tafsir of the ayah next to the ayah. Let me give you another example. Surah 68 verse 3. عُتُلٍ بَعْدَ ذَلِكَ زَنِيمٍ. Yes? He is someone cruel and at the same time of illegitimate birth. If that ayah is revealed, I'm next to Rasulullah. So when the ayah is revealed, Rasulullah is going to tell me straight away what's the name of the person. So when the ayah was revealed, it was revealed about Walid ibn al-Mughira. Yes? Walid ibn al-Mughira was the aristocrat of Arabia, the judge of judges. His slaves used to own a qantar. A qantar is like, you know, you get the bull, the skin of the bull. If you put gold inside it, they call it the qantar. Each one of them used to own a qantar. Walid ibn al-Mughira is the man who, when Rasulullah, when he heard the Arabic of the Qur'an, those of you who heard my majlis night 12 in Africa this year, would have heard about the Qur'an and the miracle of the Arabic. You would have heard that this Walid ibn al-Mughira was obstinate. He is the one who came out and said that this is the word of a magician. إِنَّهُ فَكَّرَ وَقَدَّرَ فَقُتِلَ كَيْفَ قَدَّرَ ثُمَّ قُتِلَ كَيْفَ قَدَّرَ ثُمَّ نَظَرَ ثُمَّ عَبَسَ وَبَسَرَ أَدْبَرَ وَاسْتَكْبَرَ فَقَالَ إِنْ هَذَا إِلَّا سِحْرٌ يَأْثَرُ إِنْ هَذَا إِلَّا قَوْلُ الْبَشَرِ. Walid ibn al-Mughira was the one who said, these are just the words of a magician. That Walid ibn al-Mughira, arrogant of the arrogant, correct? Rasulullah, when Allah exposed him, you know what he said? He said, we gave him children, we gave him wealth. But a person like him of illegitimate birth doesn't appreciate things like this, yes? A person like him doesn't. Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib would write next to the ayah. What would he write? Walid ibn al-Mughira. Problem. Why? Because if your son is part of the ruling party, you don't want your dad to be called son of zina. Because Khalid ibn you see, you put the jigsaw pieces all together, everything becomes clear for you. Yes? One of the two who attacked the door. Him and Mughira bin Shu'bah. They pushed the door on the daughter of Rasulullah. And there's others, we don't need to. When you see the name next to the Qur'an, next to the verse, naturally that Khalid is part of the ruling authority. He doesn't want his dad to be called what? His dad is son of zina. عُتُلٍ بَعْدَ ذَلِكَ الزَّنِيمِ. This person means the son of zina. Ali ibn Abi Talib would write, but why is Ali ibn Abi Talib writing? Because he has a grudge? No. Ali ibn Abi Talib is writing next to the ayah so that just in case someone comes to ask, who is this ayah about? We don't get mistaken. We write exactly who it's about. Let me give you another example. The verse in the Quran, chapter 3, verse 144. وَمَا مُحَمَّدٌ إِلَّا رَسُولٌ قَدْ خَلَتْ مِنْ قَبْلِهِ الرُّسُلُ أَفَإِنْ مَاتَ أَوْ قُتِلَ انقلبتم على أعقابكم. The verse of the Quran, what does it say? Muhammad is but a messenger, and messengers have come before him. So if he dies or he is killed, you'll run away from the battlefield? Correct or no? That ayah, when it comes, as soon as someone runs away from the battlefield, correct or no? Rasulullah would tell Ali ibn Abi Talib, write the following names next to the ayah. Yes? That the following X and Y and Z, one of them ran, you know, they say his camel went for 2 days, it didn't stop. Yes? This one ran and that one ran and the other one ran. Ali ibn Abi Talib doesn't just say they ran. No, the ayah says they turned. Ali ibn Abi Talib's duty is to do what? Is to write the name. You write the name down. When you write the name down, of course, why are you writing? Because we want to have a balanced scale of haqq and batil. Yes? We don't just let anyone come into power. The one who runs away from the battlefield is equal to the one at the front of the battlefield. The one who runs away is equal to that person who's laying his life for the religion of Islam. Imam would write his name right next to this. Let me give you another example. وَإِذَا سَرَّ النَّبِيُّ إِلَىٰ بَعْضِ أَزْوَاجِ حَدِيثًا. The Prophet told one of his wives a secret, correct? But she went and told her friend. Yes? So Rasulullah told her, why did you tell your friend? She replied to Rasulullah, who told you? Who told you? As he doesn't receive messages every day. Who told you? So he said to her that Allah, the Honorable, the Glorious, told me. Correct? You see, that ayah, if I just look at it, I'm not sure. Prophet told wife, what secret, and so on. Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib would write exactly which wife it is. Yes? He'd write, this wife told that wife. Of course, there's a problem that occurs here. What's the problem? Ali ibn Abi Talib is exposing everyone. I said, if you look at it, Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen, when he writes the order of the interpretation, the names that are being exposed, naturally these people, if after Rasulullah dies, they see their names, one's next to illegitimate, the others run away from the battlefield, the other one has a secret, then these people are going to be unhappy without a doubt. Further than that, next to the ayahs which are revealed about him, he'd clearly write, this was revealed about me on that day. And that's a problem. Let me give you an example. Surah 5 verse 67. Ya ayyuha rasul, balligh ma unzila ilayka min rabbik. Wa lam taf'al fama ballaghta risalata. Wallah ya'simuka min an-nas. O Prophet of God, preach what has been bestowed upon you. And if you don't, then your message is incomplete. Yes? But Allah will protect you from people. Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib would write next to the verse, this verse was revealed about me on the day of Ghadir. Correct or no? That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had told the Prophet to tell the people what? A message which if it's not complete, then his message is incomplete at the same time. So when he writes all of this, what happened? After Rasulullah died, if you read Sunni and Shia literature, both of them clearly say, Ali ibn Abi Talib compiled the Qur'an in his house. He said, I will not leave the house until I compile the Qur'an. Which Qur'an did he compile? Not only was he of those who compiled the Qur'an we have with us today, but he compiled his Qur'an on the order of chronology and with the interpretation next to him. When this Qur'an came out, you think this Qur'an was accepted or no? As in when he presented it to the people, he said to them, oh people, this Qur'an I want to present to you as a supplement to the Qur'an you have. So if you want to know who any ayah was revealed about, no one knows the ayahs like I do. I was like the child of a she-camel following Rasulullah to the mountain. I used to hear revelation all the time. When it used to come to the Prophet, I was with him. When Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib would say that, what's he saying? He's saying that I know each and every ayah. The people of the time rejected it. The first to reject it was whom? The first to reject this was Umar ibn al-Khattab. Umar ibn al-Khattab came to him. He said to him, we have no need of this Qur'an. We already have this Qur'an with us. Then ironically, Umar ibn al-Khattab later on changes his mind. When Umar becomes Khalifa later on, he comes to Amir al-Mu'mineen and says to him, he said, where is that transcript of your Qur'an? Show me it, let me see it. Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib says, I will not give it to anyone now. Yes? At the beginning, I offered it to the community. All of you said, we don't want your Qur'an. We don't want what you've gathered together. I will now not offer it to anyone. The only reason I offered it to Abu Bakr is to show the hujjah on Abu Bakr. Yes? That you know that this Qur'an has got everyone's names. This Qur'an next to the tafsir, I've written the interpretation of every ayah. Now, this Qur'an is with me. When Talha came to Imam Ali, he asked him, he said to him, will you ever let us have this Qur'an? He said, no, this Qur'an remains with me, and I am going to give it to my son Hassan, and then he will give it to his son Hussein, and then every successor until the Mahdi from Al Muhammad. Allahumma salli. Allahumma salli. Every successor until the Imam. When the Imam reappears, he'll show that Qur'an to the people. And without a doubt, when we say in Dua Nutbah, it hurts me that I see all the creation, but I don't see you. Yes? Why? Because now this Qur'an, which Ali ibn Abi Talib had given us brilliant guidance on. Ali ibn Abi Talib had shown us chronologically every surah. Ali ibn Abi Talib had shown us every ayah with the true person it's revealed about. Not wishy-washy like we have today. Now today you go to a single ayah of the Qur'an, you have 7 different opinions. Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen had left a Qur'an for the people to use, so that if they referred to any ayah, the names would be there. Now we ask the Imam of our time, oh Imam, we need that Qur'an so that we reveal every ayah in its true form, in the sense of its true tafsir, not the tafsir that we have today. Therefore you found that that particular Qur'an is the Qur'an that remains with the Imam of our time. The question arises, when Ali ibn Abi Talib had that much knowledge of the Qur'an, did the Muslims make use of that knowledge when he wasn't Khalifa? Because we know Abu Bakr, when he died, Umar came in, then Uthman came in. Over a 25-year period, Imam Ali had no position in the Islamic government. Does that mean that Imam never offered his services of the Qur'an? No, Imam, having known the Qur'an inside out, knowing the reason of revelation of every ayah, knowing which ayah is muhkam, which ayah is mutashabih, which ayah is nasikh, which ayah is mansukh, when the people would come and ask him, the Imam would offer his services. In which way? There's something very interesting that occurs on this area. What happens? When the people did not take the Qur'an of Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, 3 verses of the Qur'an he recited. I want you to focus on this area. When the people didn't take that Qur'an, do you know which 3 verses he recited? The first verse he recited, when the people didn't take the Qur'an, he offered them Surah 25 verse 30. Surah 25 verse 30, what does it say? It says, وَقَالَ الرَّسُولُ يَا رَبِّ إِنَّ قَوْمِ اتَّخَذُوا هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ مَهْجُورًا. You see, Rasulullah had already said before him, he had said what? The Prophet had already said that, oh Allah, my people have abandoned this Qur'an. Ya Allah, do not allow us to be of those who abandon the Qur'an. Rasulullah had said that. He had said that my people are those who abandon the Qur'an. And inshallah, on a night like this, we're able to memorize 10 surah names in the Qur'an. You find that Rasulullah said that. Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, when they rejected his Qur'an, this was the ayah he recited first. He said, قَالَ رَسُولِ يَا رَبِّي إِنَّ قَوْمِ اتَّخَذُوا هَذَا الْقُرْآنَ مَهْجُورًا. I offered them a Qur'an with the order, with the names, but they have abandoned it. Then the second ayah he recited was what? Surah 3 verse 187. Yes? That Allah had taken a covenant from whom? From the believers, that they have to show the message and not conceal it. But these people hid the message behind their back. Yes? The Qur'an, it says that Allah had taken a mithaq from those who were given the kitab, that their role was to do what? To tell the people about what's in the book, and not put it behind their back. But Allah says in that verse that they put it behind their back and they sold it for a paltry sum. Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib recited this ayah. He said to the people, didn't Allah take a covenant with us that we show everything in the Qur'an and we don't hide it behind our backs? But you people hid it behind your back and you sold it for a paltry sum. Then the third thing he does, and why he distanced himself from the Muslim community for 25 years, Surah 20 verse 94. What was it? You know, when Musa returns from Mount Sinai, he sees Harun and the children of Israel fighting, yes? And Harun says to Nabi Musa, I feared that I should be the cause of disunity, so I walked away from this issue. Correct or no? Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib likewise said the same as Harun said to Musa, that, oh son of my mother, I feared that I would be the cause of division between the people. I offered them the Qur'an with the tafsir, with the names, with the order of chronology, so they take it. But my people, unfortunately, having taken it, I fear that I'll be a cause of disunity. Maybe it's just better that I walk and distance myself away from these people. But does that mean he never offered help? No, he did. If anyone needed his help on an ayah of the Qur'an, on its tafsir, on its ta'wil, on its meaning, on when it was revealed, Ali ibn Abi Talib always made himself available for the people. I remember Umar ibn al-Khattab had a lady who came to him one day and they had caught her. So Umar said, what's the problem? They said, oh Caliph, you have to kill her. I said, why? He said, because she committed zina. Yes, she committed adultery. So at this moment, Umar looked towards her. He said, did you commit zina? She replied by saying, yes, I did. So he looked at her and he said, then very well, if you've committed zina and all these people are witnesses, then you are to be killed. She goes, do you mind if Ali ibn Abi Talib makes the judgment? He said to her, why? She said, because he knows the Qur'an, whether a verse is revealed in the day or in the night, on the mountain or on the land. He'd know the best answer. If he says that I'm to be killed, then kill me. But if he gives another ruling, then listen to him. So he called Abu al-Hasan. When he called him, he said, Ali, she has an issue. He said, what is it? He said, committed adultery. Imam looked at her and said, can you explain why you committed adultery? She replied by saying, oh son of Abu Talib, I am a lady in a foreign land. I'm a lady who has no husband to look after her. And my children are all young and were in a period of famine. No one to look after them. So there was a man who was wealthy. He could have offered everything. So I told him, please give us some water and some food. And the man said, no, only if you commit this act with me, I'll give you. So I looked at the man, I said, but I'm a lady of honor, a lady of decency. I beg you, don't put me in this position. But the man said, no, I insist. This is what you have to do. She went away. She said, I went away twice. On the third time, I thought to myself that my children are dying from hunger. And therefore it's my role, yes? It's my role to help my children, to remove them from that position. At this moment, what happened? Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib said, you are okay then, no problem. That you committed the act? She said, yes, I committed the act. He said, no problem, you can leave now. So Umar looked at him, he said, what do you mean she can leave? She just admitted that she committed the act. He said, no, but the Qur'an allows her to go away. He said, ladies committed zina, how does the Qur'an allow her? He said, Surah 5, verse number 3. Those who are compelled to sin while in a state of hunger, Allah forgives them. Correct or no? She was compelled to sin while in a state of hunger. Allah forgives that lady. Umar, let her go. Do not kill that lady. In other words, Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, although he distanced himself when the people didn't want his Qur'an, he would still try and offer his advice. Yet as soon as he became Khalifa, all of a sudden those same ayat revealed about certain people, those people came back to haunt him. In which way? Had the people kept that Qur'an, then the people would have seen the names of Muawiyah, Abu Sufyan, Amr ibn al-As, his own father, Inna shani'aka huwa al-abtar. All of these men whose names were by ayat of the Qur'an. Abu Sufyan, you know the ayah of the Qur'an? أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُّ وَلَا يَحُضُّ عَلَى طَعَامٍ Miskin, all of them about Abu Sufyan. All of those verses about Abu Sufyan. Next to it was written, Abu Sufyan, orphan, comes to him. Publicly, he gives them food. When no one's looking, he pushes orphans away. أَرَأَيْتَ الَّذِي يُكَذِّبُ بِالدِّينِ فَذَلِكَ الَّذِي يَدُعُّ الْيَتِيمِ وَلَا يَحُضُّ عَلَى طَعَامِ الْمِسْكِينِ. Abu Sufyan had ayat about him. Amr ibn al-As's father was that man who used to make fun of Rasulullah. On the day of Siffin, the son of Abu Sufyan and Amr ibn al-As are fighting Ali ibn Abi Talib. Look how the world turned. That the ayat revealed about these people, all of a sudden these people are now protectors of the Qur'an. Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan, Amr ibn al-As are now protectors of the Qur'an. Yes? Ali ibn Abi Talib, who had gathered the Qur'an, Ali ibn Abi Talib is now being fought by them. And I tell you the irony of all ironies. Muawiyah sees Malik al-Ashtar 2 rows away from him. Muawiyah knows, I'm in trouble now. Malik is so close. What does Muawiyah do? He looks at Amr ibn al-As. He says to him, you still want to be governor of Egypt? He said, yes, I do. He said, think of something then. Amr ibn al-As turns to him. He says to him, very well. He looks around at his guards. How many of you have a Qur'an? A few of them have a Qur'an. Some people try and say that 500 Qur'ans. 500 is way too much. I don't think they'd carry luggages of 500 Qur'ans to a battle. That's one of those exaggerations. But anyway, they had a few Qur'ans. They got the Qur'ans. They put the Qur'ans on a spear. You found that they said, let the Qur'an judge who's right, Ali or Muawiyah. Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib looked around at his soldiers, thinking that these people know that I'm the one who's well versed about the Qur'an than anyone. I'm the one who knows every ayah and who it's revealed about. Al-Ash'ath bin Qais stands up and he says, Muawiyah is right. I tell you this, Al-Ash'ath bin Qais and his whole family, what's a load of absolute nonsense. Him and his Muhammad ibn al-Ash'ath, and eventually Ju'ada married Imam al-Hasan alayhi salam. But anyway, that's a discussion politically for another day. That Al-Ash'ath bin Qais said what? He said that Muawiyah's right. Let's judge by the Qur'an. Firstly, if someone puts the Qur'an through a spear, you respect that person? Wallah, I don't understand. As in at home now, if my Qur'an falls from my shelf, I'll go crazy the whole day. Correct or no? Someone has the audacity to put a Qur'an through a spear. What's that person saying to you? He's saying this book means nothing to me. No, Muawiyah's right. We have to judge by the Qur'an. Imam Ali replied with a famous line, but I am the walking Qur'an on this earth. Correct or no? Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib is a walking encyclopedic Qur'an. Every ayah of the Qur'an, he knows when, how, where, what time. But what happens if you're going to war for the wrong intentions? Then you're never going to appreciate the knowledge or the piety of that man who leads you. And I'll never forget Toynbee, when he looks at Rasulullah and Ali ibn Abi Talib, you know what he says? He says, real politique was Muawiyah and Amr ibn al-As. Muhammad and Ali did not have the real politique. Yes? Real politic. What are you talking about? Real politic. Yes? Bribery, corruption, deceit. Give me them. I'll be the master. But when I have piety, I have a fear of Allah that's even the idol worshipper, I think twice about killing them, let alone a Muslim. Yet what happened was, they walked over Imam and they came to this arbitration. And Amr ibn al-As at the arbitration said something I will never forget. You know, sometimes I can't talk on the minbar. There are certain things you have to hold back on. Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, you had certain people from the side of the Imam. They had chosen Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. Imam didn't want Abu Musa al-Ash'ari as the arbitrator. Abu Musa al-Ash'ari was chosen. Muawiyah chose Amr ibn al-As. They came to make the arbitration. Yes? Amr ibn al-As, with his cunningness, looks at Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, says, listen, these Ali and Muawiyah are causing us a headache. One of them thinks he knows the Qur'an and the other's putting the Qur'an in the spear. Let's leave both of them. I'll make an announcement that I've left Muawiyah. You make an announcement that you've left you've left Ali ibn Abi Talib. Abu Musa al-Ash'ari says, yes. He says, yes. He said, also Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, you are so pious, you should lead me in salah. Abu Musa looked at him and said, no, you lead. Habibi, what do you mean you lead? You both were fighting each other now. I sometimes wonder, you're both fighting each other. He said, no, you lead. Amr ibn al-As said, no, you are Abu Musa al-Ash'ari. Yes? So he said, please lead. Abu Musa led. Now Amr ibn al-As put him in a position. He said, let's go out and announce. They went out to announce. Yes? They went out and Amr ibn al-As went out. Abu Musa went out. Abu Musa came out and he said, oh people, I have made a decision. I leave Ali ibn Abi Talib in his way. Yes? Amr ibn al-As came out and he said, I made a decision. I'm sticking to Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. Wow. Abu Musa al-Ash'ari looked at him and he said to him, what? He said the verse in the Qur'an, مثله كمثل الكلب. Yes? إن تحمل عليه يلهث أو تتركه يلهث. Your example of Amr ibn al-As. Please listen to this wonderful line. Amr ibn al-As is going to reply to him now. Paradoxically wonderful. He looks at him and he says to him, you, O Amr ibn al-As, are like a dog. Whatever you throw at it, you let out your tongue. Amr ibn al-As said to him, I'm like a dog. Do you know what you are? مثل الذين حملوا التوراة ثم لم يحملوها كمثل الحمار يحمل أسفارا. You are like the donkey that carries luggage. You have Ali ibn Abi Talib on your side and you come and talk to me and Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan? Look at the answer. You have Ali ibn Abi Talib. You're carrying him like a donkey carries luggage. You think you coming to talk to me is right. The real man is over there, but your stupidity doesn't allow you to understand what Ali ibn Abi Talib is. Yes, my cunningness, I want power. But you have the man who knows the Qur'an inside out, and you've come to discuss with Muawiyah, who has nothing of the Qur'an. In other words, from that arbitration, a group of Imam Ali's soldiers, not taking him as the walking Qur'an, formed the group by the name of the Khawarij. And they fought him in the battle of Nahrawan. He defeated, and you know these Khawarij, all of them memorized Qur'an. They're firm memorizers of the Qur'an. But what's the point of memorizing the Qur'an when you don't know Ali ibn Abi Talib's position in the Qur'an? There's no point. You can memorize it day and long, but the very essence of the Qur'an is the Holy Prophet, is Amir al-Mu'mineen. Correct or no? These people had memorized the Qur'an. They fought Ali ibn Abi Talib. He annihilated them in the battle of Nahrawan. Absolute destruction. But of them, there were some who had lost their family. From them, there was a lady by the name of Qatam, and she had lost her family in that battle. And she came to Ibn Muljam, and she said to him very clearly, that Ibn Muljam, if you want me, kill the son of Abu Talib. Yes? And he first, at the beginning, didn't want to kill Imam Ali. Do you know why? Because when he was an orphan, Imam used to look after him. Yes? That's the problem with the world that we live in. That you have some people, Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen says it so beautifully, Wallah al-Azim. Beware of the evil of the one you've been generous to. What a line. What a line. Beware of the evil of the one you've been generous to. I tell you, I never forget that line. There are people in this world, you're generous to them. Beware of their evil. There'll be a day they'll stab you in the back straight away. Especially the ones you were generous to. This Ibn Muljam was an orphan. Orphan. Amir al-Mu'mineen gives him food whenever he sees him. Comes to look after his family. Hasn't tell me, did Ali ibn Abi Talib, did he harm anyone in this world? Honestly. And even when he struck him, the first thing he said when he looked at him is, did I ever hurt you when you were young? What did I do wrong to you? Tell me. Ibn Muljam, what did I do wrong to you? When you had nobody to give you food, I'm the one in the middle of the night comes to your house and gives you. But that's the world that we live in, yes? Beware of the evil of the one you were generous to. She told Ibn Muljam to strike him. Ibn Muljam, of course, came on that night, the night of the 19th of Ramadan, and he struck Amir al-Mu'mineen. Where did he strike him? He struck him on the same place that Amr ibn Wid had struck him at Khandaq. Yes? In the fight between the two at Khandaq, Amr ibn Wid got a strike in. And that strike had pierced, but the cut hadn't opened until Ibn Muljam had a direct strike. And you know, Ibn Muljam, after he had struck Amir al-Mu'mineen, something very interesting. You know, he said, my strike would have killed 1,000 men. But the man was in his prayer. How much love does he have for his Lord that he doesn't even feel it at that moment, yes? And even the first words when he dies, I have won by the Lord of the Kaaba. Normally if you die or you are struck, you think you've lost. I have won. I died in the middle prostration. I tell you, my dear brothers and sisters, and I'll be very frank with you, it's Ali ibn Abi Talib that makes me believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Someone may say, how? You can show me all this sun and moon and heavens and earth. I believe in Allah because of Ali ibn Abi Talib. You know why? Because if a man can give water to his killer, yes, after his killer has struck him, whoever that man's worshipping, I want to worship. Because if worshipping Allah makes a human like Ali ibn Abi Talib, then show me that Allah. Yes? I want to know that Allah. If Ali ibn Abi Talib told me there's no Allah, there's no Allah. But when he tells me there's an Allah, and if an Allah worshipping him makes this man, it's an honor to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What do the poets say? They say, I wonder about those who call Ali God. How great a God we have if Ali is his slave, correct? If Ali is his slave, then how great is the Lord? How difficult it is for a lover of Amir al-Mu'mineen, the 21st of Ramadan. Every lover of Ali ibn Abi Talib wishes he could be in Najaf on a night like this, right next to that holy grave of Amir al-Mu'mineen. Those of you who haven't been, I pray for you tonight that you're allowed the chance to visit the master of masters. And only Allah knows what feeling Abu Abdullah goes through on a night like this on the chest of his father, correct? We have many narrations that say to us, on a night like this, Imam al-Hussein would cry on the chest of Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen. Then there's even an occasion where Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen has to calm him down. Hussein, Hussein, my son, stop crying. Imam al-Hussein was extremely close to his father, yes? And he would cry on the chest of his father, like any son would cry on the chest of their father. But of course, Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib at this moment, knowing it's his final moments, he managed to tell all of his children his final will. And the lines in his final will are beautiful, as in the lines are applicable to all of us today. Oh, he talks of the children of Abdul Muttalib. He tells them, do not yearn for this world. Do not resent anything that you've missed in it. Oppose the oppressor. Support the oppressed. He then tells them, maintain communication between each other, yes? And avoid differences. Reconciliation of two brothers is greater than fasting and prayer. Then he tells them, O sons of Abdul Muttalib, O children of Abdul Muttalib, fear Allah in relation to salah, for it is the pillar of your religion. Fear Allah in relation to the Kaaba, for it is the center of your dignity. Yes, fear Allah in relation to his house. Fear Allah in relation to the orphans. Attend to their nutrition ahead of yours. Fear Allah in your relation with the Qur'an. Yes, with the Qur'an. Remain attached to it. Don't let anyone surpass you on being intent on it, or more sincere than you on implementing it. Then he told them a line which hurts very much when you hear it. He said, if the strike of Ibn Muljam, if it's one strike that he's killed me, then strike him with one strike only. Yes? Normally any other king, any other ruler would say mutilate his body, torture him. No. Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib, even with his killer, he said if he struck me once, you strike him once. And please don't mutilate his body. Because Rasulullah said, even the rabid dog, you shouldn't mutilate that body. How hard is it to listen to a man who speaks like this to his children? Even further than that, you know, he turned to Imam al-Hassan, he said to him, my son Hassan, Ibn Muljam, go and check on him if he's thirsty. Maybe the fear has made him thirsty. And go and check on him if he's hungry. Maybe he's hungry. And please give him the clothes that you wear. Yes? Whatever you're wearing, let Ibn Muljam wear as well. Do not leave him in this difficult position. All of them had now surrounded their father. May Allah give you all patience in what I'm about to narrate, the final moments of Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib. All of them had now surrounded their father. So he saw all of his children, yes? He saw all of them around him. He saw Imam al-Hassan and he called him over. When he called over Imam al-Hassan, he looked around. He said, Imam al-Hussein, come next to me. When he called Imam al-Hussein, he said, pledge allegiance to your brother, Imam al-Hassan. So he came and he pledged allegiance. He said, Sayyida Zainab, where are you? He called out, Sayyida Zainab. He could see Zainab walk. I told him, Amir al-Mu'mineen, what had you done? Had you seen Zainab in Karbala? He called Zainab. He said to her, Zainab, come near me. She came near him. He said to her, pledge allegiance to Imam al-Hassan. He called Kulthum. She came near him. He said, pledge allegiance to Imam al-Hassan. He called Muhammad ibn al-Hanafiya. He said to him, pledge allegiance to Imam al-Hassan. He called the children one by one, yes? Every child got a call except one young child, yes? One young child was at the corner of the room. His mother, al-Baneen, began to walk towards Amir al-Mu'mineen. MashaAllah, may Allah bless every lover of Abu Fadil. His mother al-Baneen began to walk. She looked towards the face of Imam Ali ibn Abi Talib. She said to him, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, how about my son Abbas? You called all of them, but you never called Abu Fadil towards you. The Imam looked towards her. He said to her, bring Abbas. Abu Fadil came towards him. When Abu Fadil came, what happened? When Abu Fadil came, Imam looked at him. He took the hands of Abu Fadil, yes? He said to him, Abbas, I've asked all of them to pledge to Hassan, but I want you to look after the stranger of Karbala, Ya Allah. He asked him, he said to him, look after the stranger of Karbala, look after Abu Abdullah. I say to him, Ya Amir al-Mu'mineen, had you been there on the 10th of Muharram, had you been and you saw Abu Fadil lying on the ground without his hands? Inna lillahi wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, Ya Allah. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to raise us with Muhammad and Al Muhammad, to allow us to be amongst the companions of Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen. Ya Allah, raise us with the Imam of our time, Imam Sahib al-Asr wal-Zaman. Allow us to be amongst those who receive the shafa'ah of Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen in this world and the hereafter. Ya Allah, raise us with the Imam. Allow us to perform the ziyarah of Imam Amir al-Mu'mineen in the land of Najaf. Ya Allah, unite the Muslim Ummah on the love of Ali ibn Abi Talib. For all our brothers in the Islamic world, my dear brothers, on a night like this, everybody raise your hands. I beg you, as high as you can. Raise your hands, especially for our brothers in Parachinar, our brothers in Quetta, our brothers in Karachi. Ya Allah, bring them peace and prosperity in their life. Ya Allah, for our brothers in Sham, remove all the oppression that exists over there. Ya Allah, for our brothers in Bahrain, remove all the oppression that surrounds them. Ya Allah, our brothers in the land of the Hijaz, allow them to be successful in their endeavors. Ya Allah, our brothers in Lebanon, allow them to remain strong with the love of Muhammad and Al Muhammad. Ya Allah, our brothers in Iraq and Iran, allow them to continue to protect the shrines of Muhammad and Al Muhammad. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all the Muslims around the world with a Surah Al-Fatiha, especially for one of my dear friends, Brother Haidar, one of my old friends who passed away in a car crash only a couple of days ago. He was in Iran. Ya Allah, please protect him and raise him with Muhammad and Al Muhammad. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala the Surah Al-Fatiha. But before it, the loudest of your salawat.